This is KGW News at Sunrise.
This morning, Target shuttering 3 local stores, citing rampant shoplifting. But hear why the ones closing aren't the locations with the highest crime rates.
Also this morning, focusing on fentanyl. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek announces a new plan to bring state police into downtown Portland to help get the drug off city streets.
And you don't have to wait for the weekend to have some fun in downtown Portland. Coming up this morning, the effort to breathe new life into one corner of the neighborhood through art, culture, and community.
It is a Wednesday morning here on the Sunrise Show. Christine has the morning off, but Chris McGinnis is here. He's going to talk about yet another wet community on this Wednesday. Yeah. And we are talking rainfall this morning, Rod.
Well, you did announce, right? So you announced Chris, and then I barely got announced.
No, you are the cleanup hitter, my friend.
Yes, it's raining. Good morning, everybody. By the way, this is the batch of rain that you may have heard that hit us around midnight or shortly after. That's breaking up over the Cascades. We have this second batch of rain now coming in. So Hillsborough, there's Shoals, there's Newburgh. You folks in Hillsborough, right on the leading edge of seeing your rain starting to pick up. So that's coming in toward the city. So we will be getting increasingly wet again over the next hour. 57 is the current number out there. Now, once we get through early morning, I think no more solid batches of rain, just scattered showery weather following that. But pretty gray and pretty wet overall. 62 at noon, 65 at 5. And again, we'll see those breezy south winds. Chris, any problems out there?
So far, as we look live at our traffic map here and the west side here, this is the Sylvan Hill. I haven't seen any major freeway issues, but one thing I did note is Rod had mentioned the breeze picking up a little bit out there, and I think you'll see once in a while these cameras kind of bopping around in the breeze. So far, the drive through North Portland looks good, and we've got all green on the traffic map. So far, guys, so good.
All right, we'll have more from Chris and Rod coming up here in a few minutes, but right now we want to get to our top story this half hour. Target is set to close 3 of its Portland stores next month. The retail giant says theft and organized retail crime are the reasons why. So here's a look at the stores that are closing. The downtown Galleria location, the one on Southeast Powell in Southeast Portland, and the Hollywood District store in Northeast Portland. A lot of retailers, including Target, have tried to stop shoplifting by adding armed security and locking down high theft items, but crime data shows that the 3 Target stores that are closing in Portland don't necessarily have the highest crime rate. They're actually smaller Target stores, and the bottom line is they can't absorb the losses as well as the larger stores can because their profit margins are just too thin. We spoke to one shopper who says they're upset to hear about the closings.
And stores like Target don't have to close in neighborhoods like this. In downtown neighborhoods where there's such a compact amount of people, they need stores like this. They really, really do. And it's very frustrating for this to happen. Very, very frustrating.
6 other Target stores are closing in 3 other states. All 9 stores will shut down on October 21st. A lot of you had comments on this. A lot of you talking on social media about Target stores closing in the area. So coming up in our next half hour, we'll walk through some of your comments.
Oregon Governor Tina Kotek is cracking down on fentanyl. She's bringing in the state police to help get dealers and traffickers off the streets. Alma McCarty has a closer look at the announcement.
We want to make it uncomfortable for people to be selling fentanyl in the central city.
Governor Tina Kotek calls the problem both a public health and public safety issue, one that requires immediate action.
The goal is to make it very clear to the folks the, frankly, organized crime that is happening to sell on the streets, that there will be more people watching, more detective work, more ability to see where things are getting sold and going after those folks.
And after their second meeting, members of the Kotek-led Central City Task Force say they're on board.
Fentanyl is the number one thing that comes up in conversations that we're having with people right now. And so action being taken is welcome news from that whole group.
So the governor is bringing in the state police to boost the local approach with a focus on dealers and traffickers and to upgrade the strategy.
It's not about for lack of a better term, beat cops, more uniforms on the street. It's about the resources that the state police can bring to the issue with detective work, working with the U.S. attorney, working with both the sheriff's office and PPB.
Over a drug that keeps exploding. So far this year, state police alone have seized 62 pounds of fentanyl powder and nearly $250,000 fentanyl pills. The governor adding she's committed to ramping up resources and treatment for people in the throes of crisis and addiction.
And I'm not happy with the lack of system integration that's happening on the substance abuse and substance use recovery system, and we have work to do there.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Next up this morning, the man accused of shooting and killing a Clark County Sheriff's Sergeant has reportedly been convicted of aggravated murder. That's according to the Columbian. The newspaper reports that the trial wrapped up yesterday. To go back now, Sergeant Jeremy Brown was killed in July of 2021 while doing surveillance on an alleged gun trafficking operation in East Vancouver. Prosecutors say Guillermo Ray Leon, who was a suspect in that scheme, snuck up on Brown from behind and shot him in his car. Ray Leon faces a mandatory minimum of life in prison, and his sentencing is scheduled for next week.
Now to a warning from PBOT. It says jobs and services are on the line if city leaders can't come up with more money. It's facing a historic $32 million budget shortfall. PBOT says despite what many people think, most of its budget does not come from the general fund. In fact, most of the cash comes from grants, gas taxes, and parking fees. Right now, the budget cut would eliminate 127 jobs. It would also take away money for things including landslide repair, snow plowing secondary roads, and removing graffiti.
If we must make a $32 million cut, you will not have the Portland Bureau of Transportation that you see today.
PBOT says possible solutions include raising parking fees, taxing people according to how many miles they drive, or making cuts to other bureaus. We'll certainly keep following this and let you know what changes to expect.
The union that represents more than 1,300 employees in Portland Public Schools says it has rejected a contract proposal from the district, sending both sides back to the bargaining table. The union represents positions like administrative assistants, paraeducators, and campus safety workers. This latest news comes as district leaders are also in separate negotiations with the union representing teachers. Both sides of that struggle say they have submitted their, quote, best and last offers to a state mediator. If no deal is reached between teachers and the district, the teachers can strike as early as late October.
And then on Sunday, OHSU nurses will start voting on whether to accept a tentative contract agreement. The union announced the deal yesterday, calling it a historic win. The contract includes a 37% pay raise over 3 years. That'll bring the average base wage to $20.67 an hour. There are guaranteed nurse-to-patient ratios, breaks for nurses during their shifts, and added security, including metal detectors in the ER.
Some things that I've heard from particularly our ED colleagues is that we really improved and increased safety for them in particular. We've got guarantees that they will have security staff in the ED at all times. We've expanded what's called our Code Green team, so they respond to like emergent mental health conditions, so that will increase resources in the emergency department and across the hospital.
If it's approved, this contract will be good through June of 2026.
Well, tomorrow night represents the last potential opportunity to catch a glimpse of a supermoon in 2023. Rod Hill has entered the studio. So, Rod, I know we can't see you, but correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, okay? A supermoon, for starters, is when the moon is closest in orbit to the Earth.
Yes, that makes the moon super.
By super, we mean bigger. A bigger moon with a better view of the moon. So this time around, we're going to see what's known as the corn moon. The harvest corn moon, Rod.
Yeah.
In theory, here's the problem. In theory, you can catch a glimpse tomorrow night, but Rod is saying it's going to be pretty dang cloudy all throughout the area. So good luck seeing the supermoon.
I saw the moon out there this morning, a little peek at it.
It's not super yet, though, Brenda.
I know, but I saw it.
You saw it. Well, we're not ready to talk about this. I know everyone wants to, but we're throwing one more shot before we get to Rod.
Go ahead.
It's this shot. This we can see this morning. It's rainfall around the Portland metro region. Chad Dehart, this has been his assignment all week so far.
It's super rain.
Chad behind the wheel of Drive 8. He's cruising along Highway 26 because, Rod, earlier this morning you were saying that's kind of the best chance right now anyways to see rain in the area.
Well, that's the new batch of rain, a secondary rain band that's now coming in from the west side. Once this solid band of rain, which I'll show you in the radar in a moment, gets through us, I think much of today is just going to be showery and kind of like much of yesterday was. So a lot of dry time mixed in if you're going to be out and about. Let's start with the big satellite picture. You can see the curl of the upper level low that was the driver of the band of rain we got overnight and the secondary band of rain that's coming in right now. We're still tracking this fetch of moisture, which will keep our rain chances going overnight tonight and during the day tomorrow. And again, this is pretty widespread rain. You folks in Burns, your local forecast calls for a dry day, but the rest of us have some showers in the region. This was the first rain band that dropped a quarter of an inch of rain or slightly more on average overnight. That's now up in the Cascades. Snow level around 6,000 feet or slightly above. Here's the secondary rain band that we were talking about. This is kind of gentle to moderate rainfall, it looks like, moving in right now. McMinnville's raining. Hillsborough, you're now getting into the rain. It's going to continue to move along the Sunset and come into downtown Portland within the next hour or so. Futurecast shows the rain I just showed you already up over the Cascades at 8 o'clock this morning. And then for the rest of the day, it's showery precipitation, but there could be some darkening skies with some embedded downpours during the day as well. And then we keep the rain chances alive through the day tomorrow. Today, day 4 of our rainy pattern if you go back to Sunday afternoon when it really started to kick up. All right, current numbers under the clouds, we're all about the same. The Dow's 54, Kelso, Salem 55, PDX the warm spot at 58. It is colder out east. Baker City and Burns each setting at 35 degrees right now. Baker City, folks have a shower chance developing during the day. Burns, you should be dry. Salem 63, that's kind of what we've seen. Early rain, daytime showers, southwest winds 10 to 20, some gusts to 30 miles per hour. Similar numbers up through Vancouver and Kelso, Longview. Our forecast, it still looks like Friday is the day that we noticeably start to see more sun and the rain pattern starting to fizzle out. But I have added at least a shower chance with partly cloudy skies on Saturday. Portland Marathon is Sunday. The morning could be foggy if we get down to 46. Otherwise, a mostly sunny, light wind, 70-degree day. That sounds lovely. Back to you.
Thank you, lovely Rodney.